Genders can be neither true nor false, neither real nor apparent, neither original nor derived. As credible bearers of those attributes, however, genders can also be rendered thoroughly and radically incredible.
Hey, hey, women are going mad.
Gender, noun.
Hey, hey, fellas are just as bad.
The behavioral, cultural, or psychological traits associated with one sex.
Just stand and stare.
Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? It's a yes/no question. Do you believe there's a difference?
Masculine women, feminine men. Which is a rooster, which is a hen? It's hard to...
We're ending the Marxist war on women. On day one, I made the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
And our country will be woke no longer.
Gender ideology has no place in our education system.
No matter how many surgeries you have or chemicals you inject, if you're born with male DNA in every cell of your body, you can never become a woman. You're not going to be a woman.
Oh, please, get over yourself.
Like, conservatives always make up these amorphous things to be afraid of.
Mr. Secretary, what is a transgender child?
But why is nobody afraid on behalf of queer people? Why is there nobody behind us that's worried about protecting us? Why is it we're this thing to be protected from?
Well, this is my drag room. When I passed down for my title as National Showman, I did peace as my theme. So my number was We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. So I had this fire outfit, and it had these gauntlet so on my arms, and then I put my arms together and it made a peace sign. Then it had a peace sign belt. So my name is Ching Yu, my pronouns are they, them, and then my drag persona is Oliver Woodstock, and my pronouns in drag are he, him. I remember being really nervous. The open floor shows had a lot of performers in it, so it made me feel a lot more comfortable not being maybe 1 or 5, but there was 17 of us that night, and the crowd was really receptive and they were really supportive. Anytime that a new performer was coming out, the DJ would always ask everyone to be really supportive of the new performer. I remember now looking back that my drag moms were actually in the audience that night, and they were smiling the whole time, and I felt that I was doing what I should have been doing, and I really had a great time. Drag has always been an exaggeration of the two genders, because drag kings are supposed to be exaggerating the male, and then drag queens are supposed to be exaggerating the female. Every single performer that I know has their own kind of personality and their own type of style of drag. And I think that's been really healthy for me in my own personal life, and that remind myself that drag can be whatever you want. Just because we are supposed to push some narrative, you can still do whatever you want, and it still makes me feel happy that I'm doing it the way I want to.
Have a good time so far?
What up? My name is Chip, aka Mag and Cheese.
I have been doing drag for about 9 months. I won my first title last month. I am Liberty Bar's Hontiac Ambassador 2024.
Mag and Cheese is what I like to call a drag creature, sometimes even a drag entity. Even though they're a little more femme presenting, my final boss, my ultimate vision for Mag and Cheese is a lot more androgynous. Drag is just a world of its own, and your character is kind of in its own world. The way that I interact with people and the way that I just view life as soon as I'm in Mag and Cheese, I can't describe it. It's just different.
You can be somebody on stage, but then in your personal life, you don't have to be like that at all.
It's one of those things of we've all thought about being someone else before, and drag is just a safe and sparkly way to do that.
Go ahead with your sparkly.
I wish more cis people would try drag, because maybe they would see it that way. Drag as we know it today was like created by trans people for trans people. Before it was like more socially acceptable to transition, drag was kind of this safe haven for like trans people to be like their true selves just for a few minutes on stage.
So I'm transmasc in real life, and a lot of people think that by doing like feminine presenting drag, like people's first thought is like, how does that not give you like massive amounts of gender dysphoria? And for me, it's almost like being a female character that looks nothing like how I actually look is almost gender affirming in itself. Sometimes whenever I feel unsure and I'm just like, everyone perceives me as a woman because I haven't medically transitioned at all, and then all of these like typical things that like are usually held over like transmasc people's heads or like expected of transmasc people. Like looking at myself and being like, mac and cheese is me trying to look like a woman and I look nothing like her, so obviously gender affirmed, check mark.
I would say gender is the ways in which we present the foundation of our identity.
A lot of people have asked me, has your drag persona helped you figure out your gender and sexuality even more? And it's like, absolutely. A big question I get is, are Oliver and Qingyu the same person? And I said, no, they're very much different people. At the end of the day, when I take it all off, I am not a male identified person. I just identify as a gender as just nothing and everything all at once if you really want.
I think that gender is a label.
When I think about like the heterosexual side of like gender norms, it's just very toxic. I think though that our community is doing its best to be more open and responsive to it. We still have a lot of work. We're losing the generations that are very like, you have to be the lady of the house and all these things, and it's falling away. And I'm hoping it just keeps going in the right direction.
Gender is a social construct.
I was for women. I was for the women, the suburban housewife where...
I think it's really important that we are showing our community that you do not have to be in bucket 1 or bucket 2, because gender is whatever you want it to be. You know, you ask me what my definition of gender is, it's gonna be different for every single person. And those people that are in the middle are showing us that I wanna perform this way, I wanna look this way, and I want to show you that you can be whatever you want. And I think that's really important for our community to just know like you can do whatever you want. Don't let people tell you that you can't.
Gender, noun.
I really do think that like it's so hard to define what gender is because it's so different for everybody. Like there's not really like a wrong answer. There's infinitely correct answers, but there are 0 incorrect answers. Gender in like a conversational sense is just a way to describe like something that's already there.
Gender to me is how you express yourself to other people outwardly.
I think gender is a understanding of who you are as a person internally.
Gender is something that I struggle to figure out about myself.
I would define gender as
how you feel.
Gender is a very
gender is a tool of the bourgeois.
Gender really can be anything you want. Traditionally,
gender is a choice. Gender is an identity, whether born into it or chosen. Gender is an expression of my inner being, and gender is undefined. Gender is a made-up social construct. Gender means nothing to me.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only 2 genders, male and female.
I think that where things are currently headed is really alarming and like dangerous, frankly, because we don't know like how our lives are going to change at any given moment, and that's really scary.
Leaving is exactly what they want. They want me to be one of those suicide statistics. They want me to detransition. And to that I say, I would rather die. I would rather die than go back to my life the way it was.
Gender is meant to be fun and expressive and freeing, not constricting.
What
Trans lives matter. And if you don't think so, respectfully, get the fuck out of the pledge.
Like, I know that minds are being changed and that progress is being made, but just all of the people that are slowing down this progress or like taking us steps back are in power or in government, and so it's a lot more like visible and like harder to not focus on. And
I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age.
I know that it's getting better, and I know that it's gonna get better, but I know that it's gonna get so much worse before it does. And it's just so scary because we don't know what that looks like.
What really matters is the connection that we have as a community.
The thing that like even conservatives don't realize is that the state of the world and like all of these things that are happening affects us all. Like they're not just like immune to these things, and so it's even without like being able to realize it, like they are also hurting. They're just scared, and the sad part is that they don't realize that they have nothing to be scared of.
Through all of the struggle, through all of the fucking bullshit that's happening in our world today, I want you guys to look back at this moment and remember that you were in a safe space. You were in a space that we can all have fun. A space that we all can love each other. Am I right?
Art has always had like one of the most important places in like revolution and also just in like human emotion. Drag is an art form in the sense that it can add to so many other types of art forms. I view art as kind of like a more abstract voice in a way. Like it's one thing to like get all up in like a transphobe's face and be like, hey man, here's why you're wrong, this is how you're affecting my day-to-day life, and that might not resonate, but being able to say all of those things in a more like tangible way that can really appeal to like people's humanity in a way that talking face to face can't. And I think drag definitely has the ability to do that. Art is like 100% necessary to this fight for sure. And it's really beautiful to see like all the types of queer people like in every single medium to exist, like saying the same thing just in their own experience. And it's just really wonderful. And I think drag does that too. Whenever you take a tip from someone's hand or you're like lip syncing in someone's face, that's like an intimate moment that you're having with that person, and just like getting to do that and getting to just kind of share moments with people is really cool. Being able to continue performing has just been like a huge form of like reassurance. And that's why like Pride this year across the world is just like so vital.
This is what our community needs. This is what we all need. I just want to say.
Because there are especially so many like mentally ill queer people or like queer children that just like really, really need those safe spaces to know that everything's gonna be okay and to feel like they have someone on their side. And shows have definitely been that.
I urge you to find your own safe space, and for today, just have fun because this space is going to be
For me, it's more of like a rebellion thing. One of the most common things that I've heard trans people saying, especially with today's like social justice climate and like political climate, is like to exist is to resist. People just really don't understand like the impact of like how they talk about trans people or how they interact with trans people, and they don't realize that like we're literally, I'm just a guy. Like, you know, like we're just simply human beings.
I like using my platform a lot to advocate for people that don't have their own voice. So as part of many different national systems, if you end up winning the national title, a lot of them ask you, as part of your reign, to choose a platform to advocate and raise money for. You know, we're not just taking those titles just to be like, oh, I want some title. Like, we're supposed to be there in that community to advocate and be there and teach our community members and be role models for those community members. And seeing us up there doing what we love and coming back and like just some random kid coming up to you saying, I love seeing your performance, and they want to talk to you and they tell you, I've really been able to explore my own journey and I like found you on Instagram, and like that's kind of what it's about, you know, because we what our image shows is that we feel confident in what we're doing, and it helps our community like try to find themselves, because if they see us kind of confident, at least what they see, that they can try to be confident themselves too and try to grow in their own journey. And I think that's kind of how we are able to help them. We learn sexism and we learn hate and all the other discriminatory things within the home, and it just repeats cycles of generational hate.
Facing the like fear of Mean Orange Man being back in office and like what that means for like drag culture and what that means for shows continuing, like seeing everyone kind of lean on each other and helping each other through mourning, but then also just being like, let's get on stage and do the damn thing like nothing's going on. Because that's how it's always like historically been in the queer community. It's just like always resisting, always existing in front of people. And I think that that's why we've gotten as far as we have. And I think that is how we will continue to grow. It's just like banding together. And I think that that's something I don't really see in a lot of other places.
If you went into this with an outsider perspective, I love you, even if you don't love me back. And I would maybe challenge you to try to do that with people that you don't understand more often. That's pretty much it.
Okay, so trans joy.
Agreed.
Enough said.
Yep, pack it up. Thanks guys, see you later.